is it all fuzzy?
I don't know, maybe the screen's dirty a little bit.
Do you want to change it?
What's up?
Let's go right here.
Hello.
Do we have a...
I don't know if we have anybody
We
yet.
have two likes. Thank you for the likes.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
We are live streaming on YouTube and TikTok tonight. We're doing both, so we'll be managing back and forth, trying to say hi to everyone. So thank you so much for being here. Hi, Elliot. Thanks for joining. How's everyone doing this Wednesday night? Does it feel like Wednesday to you?
No, I feel like the week has kind of been a little bit of a slower week for me. I think we've had a lot going on in our day-to-day life that has kind of ran into each other the days. So
no, it's true.
It doesn't really feel like a Wednesday to me. It feels more
like a Friday. Like it feels like the week should be.
I wish it was Friday.
Further along. How do you all feel?
Tired.
Has it been a good week for you guys? Do you feel like it's gone slow? It's gone fast? I think we're preparing for the 4th of July, so that feels a little weird. Like it feels like it should be like we should be busier or something getting ready.
Well, I think we were just, in Costa Rica, Micronesia,
we were
in May.
Yeah.
And it feels like we were just there. So
That's
it's like,
true.
How is it that we're at the end of June now when I feel like we just got back from that trip and started to like settle back into our day-to-day routine and such. So we're crazy.
I feel like time feels so weird now. We were just talking about how there's like an election debate happening like on TV either tonight or like sometime in the near future, and we're like, wait, there's an election?
Yeah.
And do you remember before with elections where like everyone knew about the debates, everybody was watching the debates, everybody was talking about the debates on social media after they were aired and arguing about it on social media, and now I don't feel like I see anything about it.
Yeah, I kind of feel like after COVID, like that time, the whole world kind of changed, right? Like the way people approach things, the way people did things, and I think since that event, the election's kind of taken that same type of personality, right?
But
like,
we've had an election since
we
COVID.
have, but it wasn't. It doesn't seem like it was as important in the sense of people tuning in, like you're talking about.
That's true.
I can remember being when I was a kid, my parents, like setting their timer to sit in front of the presidential debate.
No, you
because
did.
It was such an important event, right?
Yeah.
And people would like get together, family members, to sit down, and you'd really study the candidates to see who you were going to vote for, ensuring that your party was.
And you're like arguing with your friends at school about it,
was being outstanding.
Yes.
And now I feel like most people don't really care. I think it has a lot to say with the volume of the type of candidates that we've been getting, and it's sadly, in my opinion, we just haven't had a good selection, and based on that, and people are so one way or another about it that it's just created less interest.
Do you feel like people are divided about it, or do you feel like people are like incredulous about it? Like, I don't feel so much of a division anymore that we used to have in politics. I feel like at least the people that I talk to about politics are like, I don't even care anymore. Like, I just want to be able to pay my bills.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I think the stresses everybody's been going through, and like, I also think there's been like a mass awakening as well. People are just like, whatever, who cares? It doesn't, I feel like people are just disillusioned.
Right. Yeah, I think that there is just like you said, disillusion in a relationship to it. And I think people are starting to prioritize their own individual lives more. I think people are tired of like listening to the man and like having one person make such many important decisions for their lives, right?
Yeah, like why is one person why does one person have so much
say and power?
Lucas.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I feel more in today's time that we are literally focusing more on what it is that we want individually for ourselves versus caring so much for the masses and stuff. But I think we're also tired of people telling the masses what they can do, right? So it's allowing us to kind of focus more on our individuality.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is absolutely true. Lucas said, please say hi to me. Hi, Lucas, again.
What's up, Lucas?
We'll say hi. Hi, Last76 and MA991.E. .e. It is being so weird tonight.
It is really weird. The other room is really weird tonight, but
Seriously.
it's jumping all over the place. But we appreciate you guys being here, and
Yes.
we're actually here to answer any questions or anything related to relationships
Relationship
or
questions.
dating
Dating questions.
questions. We like to think that we have a little bit of experience in that and a little bit of knowledge base to share with everybody. So
Yeah.
please feel free to reach out and ask your questions. Hello, Christina.
Hello,
Welcome,
Mohammed.
Liana.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
Maybe if we don't have any questions, we can talk about what we had discussed earlier on the golf cart.
Okay.
We live in a community that's close to the water, and we kind of live in a little golf cart community. So we are driving around tonight to go to dinner, and we just talk. We talk about everything. And
Yes, we
we
do.
love talking about this type of thing. We love talking about dating, relationships, all those things. And so I feel like whether we're on live or not, we're already discussing it.
Very true.
You know what I mean?
we have a very strong relationship, and we're very communicative in our approach, and I think that's what makes us so special and what works the best for us. So we're constantly just debating different things, talking about them, and bringing them to the front, of our conversations all the time. So
Yep.
yeah, earlier we were talking a little bit about fame, right, and what it meant to desire fame, and what the different influencers out there and people who seek that out, and what is it that drives those individuals to want to be famous. And I think each person has it in them to make that determination what it is that drives them to want something, and I think fame is no different.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also like, why do you want fame? Do you want it because you're not healed? Do you want it because you don't feel like you're good enough for it, or that you need like outside accolades to prove your worth? Because if that's the case, you probably have some healing to do, right?
Right.
And that's another thing that we always talk about on our channels, respectively. My channel, Unquiet Woman, and then At the Daddy University is his channel. But we talk a lot about healing, because we do believe that the best relationships come when you're both healing, when you both have healed and are continuously healing. Like, that goes hand in hand. So I think most of the relationship problems that we see are due to people needing to address their own issues, because they're letting those issues get in the way of their relationship, their love, and they're being triggered by their partner. And a lot of it can be ameliorated by doing healing work, by going inward and doing your own work.
Yeah, I think everything starts with from within. Like the only way that you can be ready and be able to call in someone that is amazing and great as I have in front of me is by looking inside yourself and diving deep into what it is that you need to change, into how to become authentic, right? We talked about that earlier. Like, my greatest thing that I love the most about you is the fact that you just allow me to show up for me and be my authentic self within that. And that just allows me to feel loved, allows me to feel cared about, nurtured, and therefore it makes me purposeful in what I want to do for you and how I want to show up for you and stuff. So I think it's so important to start your healing process.
Yep. So, do we have any questions? I feel like this question, I'm not quite sure if this is actually really a question.
So, Lucas, if you have a question related to that, then what is it that you're thinking about getting back with your ex, as you state there?
Yes, exactly. YouTube is the wild, wild west.
I know it is. Like, is it just a way to kind of prove the fact that some of these men out there are just trolls and they don't really actually have
a lot of
meaning to them, right?
You know what? There's a lot of, in our last live that we had a huge showing. We had a very big group of people there with us, and we did have some trolls. It is true. We tried to really focus on the intentional questions, though, that were serious.
Right.
And we did. I feel like we answered a lot of the questions, and it was helpful. But sometimes you do get that, and I think you just have to recognize it for what it is. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Very much so. Like we don't give attention or focus to it. We are talking about it at the moment, but I think it's important to realize that you're not gaining anything by trolling people. You're just making yourself look foolish, to be honest. So we're here for genuine questions. We're here to help.
Yeah.
We do this because we have passion in ourselves to try to give others opportunity to see what it is that we have in our relationship and the divine union that we've created based on the work that we've done. So I'm happy to communicate with you if you have genuine good questions.
Yeah. So what do you think, how much do you think, I'm looking down here. What?
Go ahead.
No, what were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say, Lucas, if this is a legit conversation, then how can I talk to her? Huh? Yeah.
Why don't you tell the viewers how you shot your shot when you were out in the dating world? Because
shot my shot with you, or shot my shot with
general,
others?
because you've always been pretty confident, even when you were dating. You talked about that a lot.
Right.
But I have to say, most men that I know, including my own children, and people that are close to me, it is harder for them. It is harder for men to have confidence and talk to women. Like, how do you have confidence when you're out there on the streets dating? Like, do you feel like it's something that you just have always had innately, or is it something that you had to cultivate?
Yeah, I would say individually, I've always had confidence. You know, it was something that was in me when I was young. You know, when I was a teenager.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know what it was that.
Did you just get a lot of girls or something?
Yeah, I had no
in
problem.
Like junior high and high school?
Junior high and high school.
Okay, I have a theory.
And moving on beyond that.
Okay, really quick, because I want to hear more.
Right.
I feel like if you were really confident in junior high and high school and you could get a lot of, like, you always had a girlfriend or you always had a boyfriend, you have confidence as an adult. And if you didn't, you don't have confidence as an adult.
Yeah.
Or it takes a lot as an adult to get it. If you didn't have it in junior high and high school. Why is that? That is so dumb, because it's like it's such a short little period of time in our life, yet it dictates so much going forward.
I think because it's critical years. It's your junior high, your high school years is when you learn to be independent. It's when you learn your identity, in a sense, in the beginning, right? You're breaking away from the parent roles. You're breaking away from
That's true.
Ideas, social pressures and stuff.
Yeah.
And so you're trying to find yourself within that.
Right.
And so if you find yourself on the positive end of it, to where you are confident and you have a natural ability to talk to the opposite sex and create opportunities to go on dates and to do beyond that, right?
I mean, I think yes, but here's my point. That's not important in junior high and high school as much as your looks. In junior high and high school, your looks are 90% of it.
I would say yes.
So if you don't have looks, but you're really good at talking to people, you're still not going to have a lot of dates or like have a boyfriend or a girlfriend. So that is going to affect you as you're an adult because.
Correct. But I think, based on what you're saying, yes, looks is the first judgment in those areas, right?
Especially in that age demographic.
But if you're a confident individual, you can allow yourself to become a popular individual, right? Because you're able to work your way into, you know, a popular group, a sports group, you know, whatever it may be. Yeah. And then if you have both going for you, where you're attractive and you're in a sports group, then or some other type of popular girls group or you know, whatever it may be, you know, then you have those two advantages going for you. And I think that carries over. Yeah. You know, you've shown success within your high school realm and stuff, so you got to bank on that. And so as you move forward in your dating world, you still think, okay, I'm still a man or I'm still a woman, and I have this innate ability to communicate.
Yeah, right? But I will say this though, and I made a video about this earlier in the week, and I freaking loved this video. It did not get a ton of clout, but I still loved it for what it talked about, because what I talked about is a lot of women out here will have I'm the shit vibes, like they truly think they're pretty, and when they go out they get attention, but they hate themselves. They actually don't have self-esteem. They actually are pick-me's. Their entire identity is based on how much attention they get when they go out and whether or not they have a boyfriend. That's not real security. That's not real confidence. That's fleeting. It's shallow. Yeah. It can be decimated in one bad boyfriend. It can be decimated after one like burn from a guy. Like if your entire identity is based on the attention you get from outside factors, that's not real confidence. And a lot of the attention you get in high school and junior high is that kind of confidence.
Right. Well, like I
Because
said,
how can you go deeper?
I would say it does have to be in you a little bit too.
Yeah.
Right. Like
I think it's both.
like I've always just been a confident individual. Like and
Mhm.
like I said, I played sports. I did all the things, but it's just my personality kind of shines through on that as well. And so I think a little bit of it is that it's genes. It's like what do you bring into the table as your individuality, and I think that does carry over. And so for me, I've never had an issue talking to women. It's always been an easy thing for me. I feel like I'm able to relate to women in a different way, and I
That is
contribute
true.
some of
Yeah.
mine going back to being raised by my mom and appreciating women in a different way. So I kind of like can relate to, I had, even in high school and such, I had opportunities to be invited to an all-girl party once.
Yeah.
And it
But
was,
wait, can I interject
Yeah.
really quick here? And I know you hate when I talk about like, I'm not comparing you to my ex because there's literally no comparison. He's dusty AF, but he always would say like, I was raised by a single mother, so I just really understand women.
Yeah.
Nothing could be
Yeah.
further from the truth.
No,
This man did
I
not
don't-
understand women. But what I'm gonna say is I'm gonna
Right.
flex. I'm gonna get like hype you for a minute here,
Right.
which. The difference is you truly are good with women because you are in touch with your emotions and you are vulnerable.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, Lucas, listen. When you are in touch with your emotions and you are vulnerable, not fake vulnerable, like this is something else my ex used to do. I love it so much. He would be like he would pretend he was crying.
What?
He would pretend like he was moved and crying, okay? A woman could sniff that out a mile away. She knows when you're not being real, okay? So what does this mean? Get in touch with your own emotions. Watch a movie that makes you cry and let yourself cry. The next time
It's
you
okay.
get sad,
Yeah.
cry.
It's,
The next time you get angry. The next time you're like ecstatically happy like a little kid, let yourself not worry about being cool and go be goofy.
right.
Okay? Because the thing is, a woman just wants a man to be in touch with his emotions and be vulnerable.
And be
A
authentic.
woman loves that. That's a flex for a man.
Right.
So like the society around us has taught men to just like be a tough man and just, like no, women are over that at this point. Women just want you to be real, not fake authentic. Not I'm crying over a movie, but I actually don't give a shit about you, and I'm gonna be super callous, and I don't even want to know about your emotions because they scare me. Like a woman knows that. So, and that's what you are. You are so vulnerable. You are in touch with your emotions. You know how to name emotions, and that is a flex.
Well, yeah, and I appreciate that, and thank you for recognizing all that. But
You're welcome.
I have to give you credit there. It's not easy to be that as a man. A man is through society is said to be, you're weak if you show emotions. You're weak if you're vulnerable. You're weak if you're crying. It's a complete opposite. And
Yes.
the truth of it is.
Hi, Emily.
Hi, Emily. But the truth of it is based on your acceptance of allowing me to show up as who I am allows me to be that to you. It allows me to be authentic. It allows me to be sensitive because I'm not being judged in those moments with you. I am being appreciated in those moments, and it brings the two of us closer together because of it. So
That is true.
I can tell you, for the guys in here, that by being vulnerable, by being yourself, and being okay that you may not have achieved everything that you think you should in order to be a man is actually, like she said, is a flex. She will look at you, she'll appreciate you, and she'll stand beside you. She'll help you grow and make you stronger and build you up based on your being authentic and true to who you are first and foremost, right? And then you'll start to recognize and realize that some of the achievements that you didn't seem were great, she loves and appreciates about you and will actually look at those as amazing things. And then you'll start to look at yourself in a different light. And then you start shining your own, and then you start glowing, and then the two of you together start glowing and only level up. So it's an amazing thing.
I think what I've noticed too, and a lot of creators talk about this on TikTok, is men are in their wounded masculine. And what does that mean? I think it means they're disconnected from their emotions.
Delusional.
So, and delusional, but then when emotions come up, they don't know how to handle them, and so they, as we know from this last week with an experience we've had personally, they act erratic. They act erratic. They don't know how to manage their emotions because they've never dealt with them, and so they look to their woman to manage their emotions and carry their emotions. That's not what he's talking about here, because then that sets a woman off, and she doesn't feel safe when you're acting that way. Okay, what he's talking about here is a man who's in his divine masculine has felt his emotions before. He's dealt with them one on one on his own, so that when he feels them, he can express them and rely on his woman to help him through them, but he remains grounded and safe through his emotions. And so it doesn't freak her out. Oftentimes men will complain that, like, well, I could never show my emotions to her because she didn't like me to show emotions. Okay, but let's pick apart how were you showing the emotions?
Kev.
Hi, you guys. Hi, Kev. Hi, Homer. Are you showing the emotions in a safe, grounded way that you've dealt with them before because you're not scared of them? And you're not looking at her to hold them and manage them. You're looking at her to help you manage them, to just be there, right, but not do everything. And I think we need to talk about that, because there is a misunderstanding with men on that.
Yeah, but what she's relaying there, she's not asking you to say, hey, come to me and solve my problems for me. And so you can't come as a wounded man in the sense of you're not willing to take accountability for your actions, and you're not willing to do the self-work yourself to help improve yourself. She's saying, hey, I want you to show up authentically as you are, admit and own your mistakes and your things that you need to grow on, and I'll stand beside you and help you grow through them. I'll even help build you up and make you stronger. But you have to be the first one to show up, recognize it, own it, and at that point, then you get a high-level woman. But when you're not willing to show up, and she's telling you, hey, these are some of the things that you need to do and work on and need to be, you know, and you're not willing to face those, then you end up losing the high-level woman.
A woman is an oracle to a man. A feminine energy, I will say, because this is not gender specific. A feminine energy is an oracle to a masculine energy. What does that mean? It means she shows him, spotlights areas he needs to grow. And not because she's being a bitch, and not because she's being a nag and trying to be critical, because she sees in him what he could be. Right. Oh, that's a gift of a woman. She can see in her man what he could be. And it's a level up.
Yeah,
I'd
have to say with that though, it's a fine line, right? Because a woman sees this, but a baseline woman, and I don't. This is not me trying to put anybody down, but a baseline woman sees that and tries to fix it for him and get and over and over again.
But a high level wounded feminine,
right? But a woman that's truly in her feminine and a high level woman demands that from the man, will support him and be there, but expects him to do the work and meet her, equally meet her, and not have to do it for him. Because all that's going to happen is when the woman has to take on that masculine role and step out of her feminine role, is then she's going to feel like she has to lead. The safety's gone, the protection she feels is gone, and then the relationship's eventually going to be gone. Because she's not going to be able to hold her own feelings, her own emotions, and yours too. You have to be able to meet her that halfway and still provide her that protection and safety, even while growing.
And that's a woman in her wounded feminine. And I know so many women like this. And I used to be this. So I'm not even trying to dog on a woman that women have been made to do this because men don't make them feel safe. So women automatically go into this wounded feminine where they're doing the most and they're being the most and they're pursuing the man, and they're in their doer action based life. That's not the divine feminine. The divine feminine is it's restful. It's just sitting back and resting and being calm. Sometimes she's chaotic. I'm not saying she's always calm. The divine feminine energy is chaotic. So she's just feeling all the emotions. She's in touch with her emotions. And sometimes that's sad. Sometimes that's angry. That's the chaotic that I'm talking about. But mostly she's free and safe to feel all of her emotions because her man has provided a safety for her. How does he do that? He doesn't shame her for her emotions. He doesn't gaslight her. He doesn't try to minimize her emotions because he's scared of them, because he doesn't know how to handle them. He's like, I'm here for it, baby. How do you feel? Tell me everything. Tell me how you feel. It is that simple. And he does that for me so flawlessly that then I can just rest in the safety that he provides to totally be myself. And then I'm in my feminine. I'm not doing all this work chasing him and like folding his laundry and like making him dinners and buying him extravagant gifts. I mean, I do those things sometimes simply because I love you and I want to express my love, but I'm not doing it from a hustle and grind masculine energy of me trying to win your love.
Right. And there's no expectation for you to do those things.
Right.
Because as a man, if you truly are honest with yourself and healed, what a man needs is a nurturing woman who's loving, affectionate. That's what a man wants from a woman. He doesn't need her to be purpose driven and doing tasks and buying him gifts and doing the laundry and stuff. That is, I can do that. You know, I can buy myself something. I can.
Thank you, Cologne Be Honest, for sharing the live. Please encourage.
Thank you so much.
Please share this live. We really appreciate it, you guys.
But by me coming into a relationship, being a masculine man and have done my work, and you're a strong individual. She's a very strong woman that challenges me in all the best ways and such. But she's also very soft and sweet and kind and loving. But that's because I'm showing up in the way that I do for her, and it makes me so much more purpose driven, and such a better union for us. I love it. I love our dynamic.
Yeah, I love it too. Like, we really don't have a point, you guys. We're here to answer any relationship questions. If you have any, please bring them to us. If you want to talk about divine feminine, divine masculine, I think like I love talking about the dynamic of divine feminine, divine masculine, because until this relationship, I had never had it before. I had never actually experienced that. My Valentine says my girlfriend came back after 2 weeks of no contact. Well, they always come back, right?
So what's the basis behind
what's your comment on that, Miss Valentine? Do you have a question or a comment that you want to talk about? Let's talk about it. I want to talk about your relationship.
Yeah, we're happy to.
Tell us about your relationship. Do you have questions? Do you need feedback? We're here to give it to you. We do have kids. We have 6 between us, which is a lot now that I'm saying that out loud. But yeah, it's such a beautiful dynamic. Like, we were talking today at dinner about how there's all this stuff on TikTok and on YouTube about, you know, you better take me out on a date if you're a man, and like buy me pasta and lobster, and like, are you gonna take me shopping, and where's my Birkin? Okay, we complicate it so much. It's like, really what a woman needs from a man is safety. Simple as that. And what does a man need from a woman that we talked about?
Like we were just stating, I need is affection. I need nurturing.
Affection,
I need
attention,
and love, focus on me. You know, I don't need you to be purpose driven and doing things for me every minute of the day. I don't need my laundry done. You know, we'll pay somebody to do the laundry.
Yeah.
You know?
Wait, Colombian said I need both. You need both what?
Yeah.
Clarify, because like when I'm talking about safety from a man, all that is really is listening, holding her emotions, letting her be herself, riding the waves of her emotions, being an honest person, being honest, saying what you mean, meaning what you say, actions match words. That's very simple. That's not asking. I'm not asking you to buy me a Bentley.
No,
just have integrity. Tell the truth. Right. You know, that makes safety for a woman. And so what does a man want from a woman? He wants her kisses. He wants her to talk to him. He wants her to adore him and love him. Right. That's easy for women to do. That's in our DNA. We want to do that for people that we love. We do that with our girlfriends. We do that with our kids. It's easy to do that for our man. So it's like, if you're both giving each other that back and forth, then it's so beautiful and divine. And it's like, we just complicate it so much. Okay, somebody said, I want the Bentley and safety. You want the Bentley and safety. Okay, let's break this down.
Right, let's break it down.
Do you really want the Bentley, or do you want financial security? Because that's safety.
Right.
That's safety. That's not, that's a representation of safety. And I will die on this hill. I think that women just want safety. Women just want safety.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, I think men and women are very similar in the type of delusions that they live in, and sometimes in what they don't actually recognize what safety is. You know, sometimes it's looked at as financial. Yeah, financial can give you safety if it's done in the correct way, but it's not the end mean, right? For us, everything that we do, we have a saying is we lead with love, right? And so we put love into every aspect of our life and how we approach things. Every decision we make, whether it's been about our relationship, about our kids, about finances, about future endeavors, it all, we put the thought about how does this translate with love, and how can we best approach it and be happy within it, you know, so that we're doing it correctly. So I think it's not always about finances to give you that sense of safety and security.
I think women just, can I be honest? And some men are going to hate me on this. But I think women are just so jaded with men not providing emotional safety for them that they're like, fine, buy me a car. Fine, buy me a Birkin. If you're not going to give me the emotional safety, I'll go get that with my girlfriends, or I'll give it to myself. What are you good for then? Well, you're good at working. You're good at a 9-to-5 job. Buy me things. You know, and that's sad to me, because when a man is in his healed masculine, he can provide the most amazing, spiritual, intense safety for a woman. I could cry. It is the most comforting, beautiful feeling to finally be held by a man and not be shamed and not be gaslit that your emotions are too much and not be lied to and not be cheated on. It is the most, every woman needs it, because you know what I can do now? I can just rest. I can literally just rest and be myself and love my people. I can love my kids, I can love him, I can love myself, I can love my friends so much more fully and genuinely and powerfully, because he provides safety for me to do that. It is glorious. I would give this man anything. I would give him anything.
And she does.
Because he provides safety. That is so easy for a man to do.
And I don't think, you know, if you're a man on here, are you listening to it? Because women don't offer that up. It's not free. It's not given to you because, you know, that's, you haven't done something positive to earn that, right? And what I mean by that is it's not buying her stuff. It's not doing that. It's you showing up to be authentic. You've had to earn that trust. You've had to earn her loyalty in that way, because they're not just going to give that to you free-handedly without you being a good person, someone that is going to provide that. She needs to feel safe in all ways, you know. I make her feel safe. We talked about the German Shepherd thing. You know, I'm a German Shepherd person.
So you're answering this, how do you make her feel safe?
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm going to tell you. The German Shepherd, explain what that is.
So a German Shepherd personality is a very protective nature, right? I am, you know, if you go onto my TikTok at the Daddy University, I do a lot of quotes every day and stuff that comes straight from my heart, and my inspiration is her. You know, it's our relationship. It's what I get out of our relationship and the love that I feel for her, so I provide to her. And you will see what I kind of alluding to in the one that I think I put out today. But anyways, it's talking about what jealousy is, right? Jealousy is a man who is a jealous man is a man who wants something he doesn't have. A territorial man is just protecting something he already has, and that's what a German Shepherd man is, right? It's a man that's going to protect her in all ways. But protection doesn't just mean physically. It doesn't just mean when we're out on the street that I'm pushing people out of the way and protecting her. I do that too. You know, I keep her to the inside when we're walking on a sidewalk. I will walk to the street side. I will ensure that my hand's placed on the backside of her back so that I can help guide her through things. Yeah, I'm looking at how other people interact and view her and
You're scanning
such.
the
I'm
room,
always on guard.
making
I'm
sure.
scanning. I'm making sure that there's no harm coming to her in any way. So that's the physical aspect of it. But more important to me is protecting her heart. And so, you know, when she's hurting, I hurt from that same thing. You know, and so I'm protective of how people emotionally treat her. I want to provide that in that way to give her safety. So physically, emotionally, you know, I want to show up for her by providing for her. You know, I want her to have the stability. I want to come to her emotionally strong. I don't want her to feel that she has to be in her masculine. I want to show up in mine so that she can be calm and able to be in her feminine at all times. So protection comes in so many different forms.
There's a conversation going on right now about paying bills.
Okay, what is the question?
Well, they're saying, should you pay 50% bills if you're like in your masculine, or should you pay all the bills? And I want to go here really quick. Tell me what you think about this, because we've never actually talked about this. I think women want men to pay for everything because, again, it's a representation of safety.
Mm-hmm.
It represents safety. It all comes back to that. A man's currency in a woman's world is safety. Okay? So that's why women are like, you're going to take me out to dinner on the first date and buy me a full course meal because I need to know that you're going to provide safety. But I think women are getting a little too caught up on the technicalities of that, and they're not understanding, like religious people like to say, the spirit of it. The spirit of that, of you wanting him to buy you dinner, is you are craving safety. You want safety. So if you're in a relationship, to get to the answer of this question, should my man pay all my bills? Here's my question. Are you having a hard time putting food on your table? Are you having a hard time? Do you not have a place to live? If so, then yes. Your man should be providing safety for you financially. And he should go get 2 jobs, which my man has done. He should go get 2 jobs to provide safety for you if you are not able to pay your bills. But are you paying your bills? Are you hustling because you're a bad bitch? Then no, I don't think he needs to pay all your bills unless you really need that. But I think you're craving the safety component, and a man can give you that in other ways. A man can give you emotional safety, and that I honestly think is the most important thing.
Right?
That is the most important. That's my point.
Yeah.
Like, wanting a man to pay all your bills is because you're craving emotional safety.
Right.
Hi, Wild Heart. So good to see you here.
Yeah,
She always comes to our lives, and I love her.
I would like add on to that, like early on in a relationship, you know, like when you're in your 20s and you're just maybe an early marriage, and then you have young kids and such, and where the woman is staying at home to take care of her children and everything, and a man like I did in my marriage, you know, I worked 3 jobs at one time to provide for my family because that's what needed to be done. And so yes, in that situation, and that was the best interest for my family, then that's what I would be doing. And I think in relationship to dating, as you talked about in the early dating, I think a man should be paying in up front for those initial courting in that time, because he needs to show her that yes, I can take care of you.
Yes.
I can provide safety
And you
to
did that.
Yeah.
And when we were first dating,
Very
you
much
paid
so.
for everything, and it wasn't necessarily easy for you to do. You put yourself on the line to do that. Henny, we're going to answer your question in a minute, okay? I see your question. You put yourself on the line and you stretched yourself financially to show me that you were going to do that.
Yeah.
And then as we merged our finances, now you don't pay for everything because our finances are merged. So I pay for things, you pay for things. It doesn't really matter. But in the beginning, you did show me I can be a good protector and a provider, and I will do that.
And that I will manage my money properly in order to prioritize you within that.
Yes.
You know, so that it wasn't about, hey, and we weren't going to McDonald's by any means. We were going to very nice places.
We were pasta and lobster.
Yeah, we were pasta and lobster and at 5-course meals when we were dating. It wasn't about that. But I wanted to establish safety for you and letting you know that, hey, I'm going to show up. And the initial way to do that early on is making that effort.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, baby.
No, you're good. And you know, when you're asking for a woman to pay 50% on a first date or such, I don't think you're providing that for her, because you're asking her basically, well, I want you to 50% be in your masculine. 50% you're feminine. Because I'm only going to provide half the safety that you may be looking for at the time.
Oh, I love that.
I
This
think
is what Henny is saying. Now that I want to hear your take on this,
Yeah.
because this is along the lines of what you're saying. So she's saying that they have a child and her partner is asking her to go get a job because he believes it's too hard for one person to pay for everything in this economy, but he promised her that she could be a stay-at-home mom, but now he's backtracking and saying he wants her to go get a job and put the child in daycare.
Okay. Yeah. So I've been in those exact situations. I've never asked someone that I was in a relationship to go get a second job, but I was in a long-term marriage. In my beginnings of my marriage, she had a child that wasn't mine, an 8-month-old baby when we first met and stuff. And I took on the responsibility of allowing her to stay at home because she was working at the time when we first met, but all her money was going to daycare. And I said, it doesn't make sense for you to work just to not spend time with your child. Mm-hmm. So I took on the effort of taking care of both of them in that early relationship, and I provided for them because that was the best and smart thing to do. I went on to work a second job, and then eventually I got married in that relationship, and we had a child together too, and I ended up working 3 jobs so she could stay at home and stuff. So I think, yes, in today's economy, it does require a lot of money to make it, right? Like, and it all depends on what your goals are in life, what you're trying to achieve. You're trying to buy a home, where you live, the demographics of it, how much money you're putting out, the debt, etc., right?
Right.
And, so you have to really make that decision. If he stated previously, hey, you can be a stay-at-home mom, but he can't make it on that one job, is it feasible for him to get a second job? Is his job so demanding physically that he is exhausted and a second job wouldn't do anything, right? It wouldn't benefit. Is he going to work himself to death in a sense? For me, like I said, I worked 3 jobs. I was gone for 2 days at a time, and yes, it was tiring, but I wanted to be a provider. But maybe that's not his personality. I don't know. So you guys, that's something you both have to talk about.
It's a hard one, Henny.
And stuff. Yeah, it is hard.
No, I mean, I feel like I can't speak to that, but I want to say that if you have a little baby at home, I understand how that feels of not wanting to put the baby in daycare and just wanting to be home with your child. And so I would ask you, is your man supporting you and giving you safety in your struggle with that? Is he validating your concerns? Does he understand how much this is hurting you as a mother? Is he gaslighting you, or is he truly being there and being a support to you?
Right.
Because that is like the benchmark of a good man and his divine masculine. And that is the benchmark of a man that helps you to feel safe. I think it's less about the fact that he wants you to go work and more about the fact of maybe you feel unheard. Maybe you feel like he's not validating you. Maybe you feel like he's not being the rock that you need at this point just to deal with having to go to work and put your child in daycare. I would want to know that.
So, I mean, your statement right there where you said he left you as a single mom for 2 years and now wants to move you in. Well, I think if he's the one that's initiating wanting to move you in, then he should be ready to provide for you in that way. That's my personal take and opinion on it. Can't really demand somebody that you walked away from. I don't know your full situation. I'm just looking at it from what I'm reading.
It almost sounds like he's kind of holding it over your head, like,
Right.
I'm only going to move you in if you work. Is that what's happening? Because that's not providing safety. That's saying, I will love you and I will be a provider, protector as long as you do this for me.
And what's his purpose for moving you in? Is it because he wants financial support from you? That he's not meeting his financial bills and stuff.
Move in if I work.
Right. So evaluate the relationship. Is that what you want out of a relationship? Is that what you're willing to accept in a relationship from a man that is demanding you to pull half the weight in that sense, right?
Especially the mother of his child.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, he wants me to cook, clean, raise our son, but demands I help pay the bills 50-50. Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Baby girl, that is not providing.
It's a red flag.
That's not providing protection for you and safety. And for a woman, it is all about safety. Let's say you move in with him and you do as he demands. You're not going to feel safe. You're going to feel overworked and tired. So I would ask you, are you going to feel better moving in with him than you do right now not living with him and doing all that yourself?
Right. Well, how are you living now? You know, if I can get a little personal
Do you
about
have
it. Are you living
support?
at home with family?
Yeah.
Are you working currently? You know, and this is just something that you would continue to do if you were to move in with him,
Right.
or are you wanting to move in, quit your job, and just be a full time mom?
I would rather be a single mom and provide for my son by myself.
Okay,
Wow, girl,
well,
yes.
that's your answer then.
Okay,
right?
so your intuition is telling you that, and I want you to listen to your intuition because a woman's intuition is her oracle. It is the gospel truth. You cannot turn on yourself and abandon yourself in this moment. If that is what your intuition is telling you, do you know what that means? It means that your future self knows already what's going to happen and that you're going to
Right.
be okay.
Right.
You would not be feeling this way if your future self was not telling you it's going to be okay and perhaps protecting you from what could happen should you move in with this man.
Okay, and you just stated that you're going to nursing school and going for a career, which is amazing. That's awesome. So by moving away, you would be letting that go as well, if I'm correct, right? You would be
Yes.
walking away from something that you are trying to achieve in your personal
And
life.
can I say something too for the girlies because I feel like she loves him and she wants the family. And I admire that. Okay? Every woman wants the family. You want a provider protector. You want a man who's going to make you feel safe. You want to feel calm and just be able to raise your baby, okay? And I get that. Can I tell you that if you go after your dreams and you do not follow him, but you do you, nothing is more desirable to a man. So even if if you love him and you're not ready to let go of the dream of having a family with him or being with him, moving in with that guy and throwing all of your hopes and dreams aside will not be a turn on for him. It will not be a flex for you.
Well,
Just focus on you, do you, and then that is the most intoxicating energy for a man. And I'm going to tell you for all men.
yes.
So I'm going to say it'll be a great attraction for him, but also for any guy out there that you happen to meet.
And you don't want to get into a situation to where you have resentment, right? Because at some point, if you move in with him when you didn't want to move in based on his demands, you're going to resent him for that at some point in that relationship. And that relationship will fail because of it. You know, you need to move in based on what you want, what you're willing to accept, and it's got to be mutual in that way. You know, it's very important. I have an older daughter, it's an adult daughter, and she was having a relationship situation with her boyfriend and stuff, long-term boyfriend, and you know he was a little bit of a controlling personality, great guy, but a little bit controlling, and he always, you know, he enjoyed doing things with her, but he wanted to do everything that he wanted to do and not what she did. And so to me, I'm like, wait a minute, you know, you have to have your own voice in this. You need to be able to say, hey, I like doing this, I want to do this, and he needs to meet you too. It shouldn't be just a one-way street. And so I think what would be my advice is that you guys need to have a real conversation, and it needs to be authentic. You need to be able to express your true feelings to him, and he needs to be able to meet that for you. And then you guys come to some type of compromise if you truly want to be together.
Yeah, I love that, babe. She says, I honestly thought the man is supposed to pay all the bills and whatever money the woman makes is for her own spending. I feel like that's kind of a societal framework that's trying to get
Old school.
to a divine masculine and a divine feminine without actually getting to the heart of what that means. And what we talked about earlier is that when you're in your divine masculine, you want to protect your woman in all ways, financially and her heart, most importantly. And if he doesn't already have that innately in him, then him paying 100% of the bills is not going to give you that. He could be paying all the bills and you're going to feel totally unsafe because he's not providing emotional safety. So, and you're on the path to providing that for yourself. Provide that for
Right,
yourself
right.
first as a woman. Give it to yourself. You're already on the path of doing that. That
like
right
that.
there, you're healing yourself and leveling up yourself is the most potent energy on earth to get whatever you want. If you want a man, baby girl, that's going to provide for you so that you can stay home and raise your child, and that's what you want, I love that for you. But you're not going to get it chasing after a guy and not healing yourself. You know how you get it? You pour into yourself. You
Love
heal
yourself, yeah.
yourself. You level up yourself, and it will naturally come in, whether it's him or a new man.
Right. I think it, I love all of that. And take it from a man, and take it from a man that says, go out and take care of you first. You know, you have so much, it sounds like you got going for yourself. And, you know, if you want to be a nurse, go and get that. You know, and be so that if that relationship doesn't end up working out, you can take care of yourself. You'll be fine on your 2 feet. You don't need him. You shouldn't need a man. You should want a man in that sense, right? And so, pour into you, like you're saying, love yourself. Go take care of you first. You know, and if this is a man that truly loves you, he's still going to be there, because he's going to continue to chase you and want you and come after you and do the things that he needs to do. And by you being a strong individual within that relationship and saying, hey, I need to take care of me, and I need to set my baseline for what I need in a relationship, he's going to do one or two things. He's going to walk away because he's not willing to do the work himself to be a higher level man, or he's going to accept that and appreciate that in you and meet you there. So I think stay on tracks, you know, stay on with what you're doing.
This is going to sound so mean, and it sounds like, I don't know if you're young, in your 20s, a lot of times men don't understand this, but if he loves you and he is your man, he will move the sun, moon, and stars to make you happy.
Yes.
I'm sorry, if he wanted to, he will is a thing, because it's true.
Right.
I hated it too until I met him, and he will literally move mountains to give me what I want and to make me feel safe. And it's not because I'm a gold digger and he's hustling for his
Absolutely
work.
not.
It's because he's in his masculine, and that's what a man in his masculine does for a woman he loves.
I use this term as, and I'm not saying that your boyfriend is this by any means, and I think you guys might be more related to age and maturity for him. But men place women into two categories. It's either you're truly in love with that person,
Listen to this,
and,
women,
and you're willing to give everything to that person. Just like she said, I'm going to use the word obsessed. I'm obsessed with her, like in all of the positive, good ways. You know, I want to do everything I can to make her happy and feel safe and protected, because the love that I have for this woman is beyond anything that I can even talk about. But the other category a man puts you in, it's called a placeholder. If you're in a relationship with a man and he's not doing everything possible that he can do to make you happy, and he's not obsessed and doesn't adore you and isn't addicted to what you bring to him, then you're a placeholder. And a placeholder is someone that a man is like, okay, I have this person in my life right now, I'm getting my needs met, you know, whether that be sexually, companionship, whatever it may be, you're getting a little something from her, but it's not the person that you're in love with. It's just a temporary person until the right one comes along, and then he'll go chase that one. You know, because if he's not putting in the effort, if he's not chasing, we're together. I'm going to always be with this woman, but I will continue to chase her for the rest of my life. I'm going to always let her know how special she is. I'm going to always tell her how much she means and what she brings to me and how much I value her and appreciate her. You know, and I keep doing that. I already have her, but it doesn't mean I don't need to keep doing that over and over, and I want to. So if a man is not doing these things and he's turning it on you, then you have to really take a look at, is that the person that's really in love with you, or is it a person that is just there with you? You know, being that placeholder relationship.
I think that's so good, baby.
Thank you.
Yellow says, how do we forgive yourselves? How do we forgive ourselves for being a placeholder?
Okay, how do we forgive yourselves
I
for
feel
being
like
a
I can
placeholder?
answer this.
Okay,
I feel
go
like,
ahead.
because I was a placeholder. Before I met him, I was with a dusty guy that literally I was a placeholder for him. And I think, here's what you have to understand, okay?
Not in the same realm as I'm talking about.
Not at all.
Yeah.
No, not at all. But listen, this is what you have to understand. Men, and I have several videos on this, I just posted one earlier this week. The masculine cannot survive without feminine energy. They need feminine energy, okay?
I agree.
It is your currency as a feminine. Wield it wisely. So what that means is, just because somebody used you, just because a masculine used you, it doesn't mean you don't have worth. Okay? It just means, it could mean a myriad of things. It could mean he's not your person. It could mean he was wildin'. It could mean he's very unhealthy and he's not ready for you. It could mean he knew that he wasn't good enough for you, but he still wanted to glean your energy. So he was not willing to level up to deserve you, but he still wanted your energy. It could be a million things. But just recognize that men need a woman around them at all times. So the odds that you're going to be a placeholder are very good. They're very good because there's an equal amount of men in this world to women. And so men needing a placeholder at all times means at some point every woman's going to be a placeholder. You cannot take it personally. And if you are taking it personally and shaming yourself for it, there you go, babe. That's the roadmap for your healing. Get on the journey of healing.
Yeah, and if I could add to that, like I always say for women out there, is you have to create a baseline of acceptance, right? You've got to say, this is what I want in a man, and that man needs to take the magical steps and ladder and keep climbing up so that he keeps leveling up with you. If that man dips below that, then you need to learn not to accept that, and you got to be able to show your worth in that sense to yourself, right?
Yes.
And he's either going to make the decision to climb up that ladder, or that ladder is going to become a flat surface and he's going to slide back down it, and then he's going to fall below that baseline. And then you have to make the determination, am I just going to go back to that and accept that same bad behavior, right?
And back to your metaphor, many men will slide down the stairs and then be like, all right, well, she was I couldn't deserve her, so I'm going to go find less. And then that woman up there is like, oh my God, I was just a placeholder. I feel like such shit about myself. No, girl.
It wasn't you.
He now is going for less because he knew he wasn't enough for you.
Right.
It's because he's not enough, not because you're not. Right. So it's like self-concept work, right?
Right. Yeah, it's not so much you may have been a placeholder, but you were a placeholder partially because he wasn't willing to do his work to meet your level, right?
He didn't want to.
He didn't want to, so he didn't want to show up, right? You were too demanding of what it was that you needed from him, so he turned you into a placeholder so he didn't have to do work. Yes. And then just like you stated, generally what happens in that situation is when you have a high level woman up here and she's your placeholder at that moment and you're not willing to come up to that level and meet her so she's not a placeholder, then you're like, shit, I can't match her, so now I got to dip below her. And that's why you'll see a lot of times men go to a lesser woman, and you're like, why is he with her? How could he possibly
be with
her when she's nasty, right? Like, I mean, I don't mean that meanly, but the truth of it, right? They lessen, they go lower, and then what happens when that one doesn't work out? They go lower.
But they think of you all the time, baby.
Yes,
and
they
how
do.
they could have had
and
you.
how they lost out on that
How
one.
they lost out on the dream girl.
Right.
Okay, I want to talk really quick. Honey is saying, I want to go back to Honey for a minute.
Okay.
Okay, Honey, listen. Are you still here? Let us know if you're here. Okay, this is what I'm going to say to you. If you want to be a stay-at-home mom and you want to provide or protect your husband, you're already being that. You need to be that first. You need to be that, and then you will attract it into your life. So you're going after your nursing degree. You're hustling. You're grinding. You're single momming it. You are killing the mom game. You are doing what you want him to do. You are being and embodying what you want for your life, and that's how you bring it in, okay? That's literally how you bring it in. Just keep doing you, and either this guy will wake up and level the fuck up, or he won't, and you'll find somebody who will, okay? Right. Because the thing is, like he's saying, set the standard for what you want and do not deviate. Because he needs to rise up here to meet you. And if you keep going down, you know what he's going to keep doing? Going down. And you're going to go down. Well, and he's going to go down. And it's a descent into hell.
And it starts to become accepted behavior by him, right? Like if you don't set that baseline, we had some friends that, you know, she was in a relationship that he started to become like verbally abusive, right? And then she'd be like, oh, he just had a bad day, he's dealing with this, he's dealing with that. And so she accepted it. Well, then that becomes to really verbally abusive. Then eventually that leads to domestic violence,
physical abuse.
Physical abuse, because you accepted that behavior. So men, unfortunately, tend to do what they get away with, right? If you don't tell them that they have to face it and hold them to that baseline and then tell them they have to rise, they will continue to push the buttons and see what they can get away with in that lesser role. And so it's so important to not allow those things to happen initially. Call them out early on it. Don't accept that behavior and push that baseline and continue to grow it.
Is this not invaluable? Like,
this is a guy. I'm a guy saying
literally telling us as women
Here's
what
your
men
formula.
think. And
Yeah.
it's like women will sit there and give so many excuses for them. Like men or women will be delusional themselves. You know how you always talk about how men are delusional and men think they can get a woman way out of their league. Men think they can wile and she's going to stay around. It's because that quote, I didn't need to lie to her, she told the lies herself to herself.
Right.
Women are delusional in that they project their magnificence and what they would do if they were a man onto their man. Right? So if he comes home and he's acting shady, instead of seeing the reality of like, yeah, he's probably out cheating on me. I see all the signs, they're there. He won't let me look at his phone. He showers the minute he gets home. No, that woman will just delude herself and be like, he went to the gym just like he told me, because they want to believe it too.
Well, they don't want to not believe it, right? Because then that puts them in a situation of women, men are, I always say this, black and white. Women are gray because they've got thoughts that are going this way, this way, this way, and this way. Mm-hmm. And so they don't want to think about that because then they take it and unfortunately put it back on themselves. Well, it must have been something I did that created that scenario or such. Or men are I did it because of this, and this is why I'm not doing this, and that's where it ends. It's a black and white situation. Either I do it or I don't do it.
Logical, black and white.
And stuff. And so you create this scenario in your head. So women tend to push it down at times and rather look the other way instead of dealing with it. And that's why you have to have self-worth in those situations. Yeah. Not accept, call it out in the beginning, make them face it.
And a man who's in his divine masculine is not scared or threatened by you calling it out.
No, when we first started dating early on, we both came out of long marriages. She also then had a relationship after that with a narcissist that was very mentally abusive and created a lot of scenarios of untrust. So there was a couple of situations, where she immediately was triggered by something. I could have been like, wow, this person's crazy.
It's not my problem.
I didn't do anything,
Right.
So why are you questioning why my phone isn't face up, right? and stuff.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And I'm like,
I just so triggered by
all I
phone
did
in the first 2 months of our dating.
All I did was
set
my phone down, right? Like what?
Because my ex would never let me look at his phone. He'd always be like, all like squirrely around me with his phone, which now we know like there were things I never wanted to see in his phone. Right. But yeah, I was so
But I hadn't experienced anything like that, right? And I'm like, whoops, I just set the phone down. But I could have been like, well, you're crazy. What are you doing?
Not my problem.
I'm not going to deal with this. But instead, I listened to her. I said, okay, why are you feeling this way? Why are you thinking these things? And I chose to prove to her that's not who I am. That's not what I'm bringing to this.
Yeah, he'd be like, look at my phone.
Here's my phone.
Here's my phone. I'd be like,
access it. Go through it. I can remember early on we were on a road trip, and we stopped and I go to use the restroom. I come back, you're on my phone. She's just going through my phone.
Totally he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, you can't leave your phone here and not expect your girlfriend to go through it. I'm gonna go through your phone. Like, just get used to it.
But I didn't care. Matter of fact, we stopped at another store like 5 minutes later for something.
He laughed at me. He was like,
and I had my phone on me, and I'm like, here, got the phone, gave it to her, and went back in the store. Go ahead and finish, right?
You were like, go ahead and finish.
Because that's what a real man does. A man who isn't afraid and doesn't have shadows to hide behind is okay with a woman's emotions that needs to solve past traumas, because anything that we've had has been past related triggers and traumas. It's not ours, it's the past. And so what did I do? I accepted her emotions related on it, and I helped her work through it by providing the safety that she needed within that moment. Here's my phone, take it, do what you need to do to feel safe, and that I'm not like your past, right?
Yes. Everything that your man does should be providing safety. And we'll probably bounce soon because it's been over an hour. But I love that we talked about safety for a woman, because safety is the currency of a man. If your man is not providing safety, then you will start to look at it in all of these other ways. Like, I think, Henny, thank you so much for sharing your experience and being vulnerable on here, because I think you sharing your experience with us is just proving this concept that when women don't have emotional safety, they will start looking for it in other ways. Like, well, why can't I look at your phone? Well, why don't you provide for me? Well, why aren't you answering my phone calls? They start to get nitpicky
Right.
about it because he's not providing the underlying emotional safety. And I would say, provide it to yourself, babe. Give that emotional safety to yourself. And then you will not tolerate a man that doesn't give it to you. And the bar's up here now.
Right.
And you will only allow men and friends and family and everyone into your life that meets this bar of safety. And if they fall below it, you're not desperate to lower your standards to be loved, because
Right.
you're giving it to yourself. And I think you're already doing that. So stay the course, stay in school, keep on mothering the F out of your sweet little baby and being the best mother ever, because you don't have a man stressing and pressing you.
Right.
And you'll get what you want.
Right. I agree with that 100%. And it's okay to ask for those safety moments and stuff, like the example I used with the phone. Another good example we did early on is sharing locations. You know, we were dating early, and she's like, hey, I want to share locations with you.
Yeah.
You know, and stuff. It's a trust thing, right? You know, I didn't care. Like, you can know where I'm at every minute and every second of the day, even as early when we first started dating.
Yeah.
Because I knew that was something that would provide safety to her and reassurance for her to feel comfortable and to be safe. And all that did was develop trust within us and developed her ability to lower her walls, get soft with me, get comfortable with me, love me more, and appreciate me, because I was willing to give her that safety and comfort within those. So there's nothing wrong with you doing the same thing, honey. You know, I'm not saying those specific things, but if there's something that you need from him that he's not providing to help you feel safe, ask for that. You know, see how the reaction is from that. You deserve that.
And don't settle for less.
Don't settle.
Because you deserve it.
Very much
Okay.
so.
Thanks for joining, everyone. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
And we'll see you next Wednesday.
Have a good night.
Bye.